These days, one of the easiest ways to start investing with the smallest amount of money is what we call a unit trust. But what exactly are unit trusts? Now, in this video, I'll be highlighting 5 things. What are unit trusts? What are the advantages and disadvantages of unit trusts? How can one join? And what are some of the examples of unit trusts? Now, unit trusts, these are collective investment schemes whereby different investors pool money together and they give this money to what they call a fund manager. Now, in return, the fund manager will be investing this money on behalf of those investors. But the fund manager also in return will charge what we call a management fee. And generally, these fees vary between 1 to 2%. But what's also fascinating is the fact that the profit that is earned after the fund manager has removed their management fees, the rest of the money will be shared amongst the unit trust holders according to how much they have so far invested. Of course, they all seem rosy, but they always have the advantage and disadvantages. So the advantages of a unit trust, the first one, most of the unit trusts are so easy. They have made the investing so easy to invest in because most of them now they have started to use technology. So you can either do it online and rarely do you need to go to their offices. So they have made the investing extremely very easy. And the second advantage is the fact that they accommodate or they start from small amounts of money. Some actually from maybe $2 to $3, you can actually open up and start your investment journey with some of these unit trusts. So we no longer now have excuses that you don't have a lot of money to start your investment journey, because remember, maybe $3 to $5, you can start your investment journey. And then the third is the fact that they are also extremely predictable, because most of the interest rates that these unit trusts pay back are commonly known. So you can easily predict your income. And remember, on average, they are showing or they are paying you the interest either on a daily basis and worst case scenario on a monthly basis. So you can easily predict how much money you'll be earning per month. Then the fourth advantage is the fact that they are extremely safe. And I'm using extremely safe because if you look at where most of these unit trusts invest their money, they invest the money in safe investments. Majority of them, they invest either in treasury bills or in treasury bonds. That's why they put majority of the money. If you look at from the Ugandan context, maybe more than 70% of the money that they collect are invested in treasury bills and bonds. The next will be fixed deposits. And then finally, some of them can be investing in equity. But remember, most of the companies or the interests that invest in equity, this is a very small percentage that is being invested in equity, whereby they buy shares in different companies. And then also we have a tax advantage. From the Ugandan context, the interest earned or the interest that is distributed to interest holders attracts zero tax. In other countries, the interest might be charged some tax, but still it will be a lower tax compared if you invested in other investments. So those are kind of advantages that only unit trusts now have. And then the next advantage is the fact that they are professionally managed. Most of these unit trusts have invested heavily in making sure that they train their employees in the best way possible on how best they can manage other investors' money. And then finally is the fact that they are extremely liquid. From the Ugandan context, between 1 to 3 working days, you can access your money. Of course, in other countries, you can access that money far shorter than that period. So at the end of the day, that's why it's becoming so easy for us to start investing in unit trust. But always, of course, a good thing has got a bad side, and that takes us to the disadvantages. And the first one is the fact that it has a low return. Remember, as economics, the lower the risk, the lower the return. The higher the risk, the higher the return. And in this case, because they're extremely low risk, so they always also attract lower return. If you compare it with other investments, maybe if you had invested in a business or something else, you are highly likely to earn maybe a higher return. But remember, if you're highly likely to earn a higher return, it means whatever you're investing in attracts a higher risk. So for those who are a bit risk averse, then a unit trust gives you a lot of comfort. And then the next disadvantage is inflation. Now, if the inflation rate becomes higher than the rate that the unit trust is paying you on the amount you invested with them, that will drastically mean that the amount they have is losing money, because the purchasing power of that money is drastically reducing. And also we have the fact that they are easy to access. Now, easy to access is an advantage, but also at the same time, easy to access is a disadvantage. If you find someone who lacks self-discipline, it means they can easily remove that money or they can easily withdraw that money before they attain their goal. So at the end of the day, it's about you to balance yourself. If you feel that you don't have the self-discipline to keep their money, then you are far better off to look for another kind of investment. Maybe a fixed deposit can actually work for you because maybe there you'll be tied up for a longer period of time. But if you have the self-discipline to keep there the money, then absolutely, this is still a good investment for you. And also, the management fees is also another issue because it might seem small, 1 to 2%, but along the way, if it compounds, if you compound the 1 to 2% over years, then that significantly becomes a big percentage. So be careful and be selective to make sure that if you're looking for unit trust, always look for the ones that have as low management fee as possible. Then the other disadvantage is sometimes hidden costs. Now, on average, all unit trusts don't declare all the costs that they charge you. So it's always good to understand or to follow up and understand 100% what are those smaller costs that they keep charging on your account, because you'll be surprised that along the way, as I said, still, if you compound those smaller costs, it can grow to a bigger percentage. And also that takes us to another disadvantage, and that is mismanagement. Now, this one is out of your control because remember, you have trusted the fund manager that they have the right skill set to manage your money. But in the event they don't, then obviously your money will be mismanaged. And then finally is the performance risk. If you look at all the terms and the conditions for the unit trusts, they always categorically state that they don't guarantee performance, but also they don't guarantee your principal. So there is a possibility that actually your principal can reduce. Of course, on average, that doesn't happen, but it is actually a real risk. And that's why they highlighted that they cannot guarantee the performance, but also they cannot guarantee the principal. However, at the end of the day, if you compare the advantages and disadvantages, trust me, the advantages always outweigh the disadvantages when it comes to investing in a unit trust. And of course, personally, I'm a big fan of it. And I absolutely support anyone who's interested in such kind of investment to try it out because one, it is extremely safe, but also you can always access the money on a short notice. But now, if you have decided that this is your thing, that you want to start also investing in unit trusts, how can you join? In the Ugandan context, there are generally different terms and conditions. The first one is you have got to look and choose a specific unit trust. So the easiest way is do as much research as possible on the different unit trusts that are available and then choose the one that best fits you. Then the next requirement will be how much do you need to start with. From the Ugandan context, for example, they start from as minimum as 10,000 Ugandan shillings. Others, they want 20,000. Others, they want 50 or maximum 100,000 Ugandan shillings. If you compare all of them, we are looking at $3 to a maximum of $30 to sign up and start your investment journey. And from the Ugandan context, what are some of the companies that provide unit trust services? We have got Zeno, UAP, ICA, Sanlam, Britam, Stanbic Bank, and also you have got Standard Chartered Bank, which has the product called the Shilling Fund. But at the end of the day, like I always advise, the earlier you start on your investment journey, the better, especially to the younger people out there. If you start early and maximize the advantages that your age brings you, then you benefit from the power or the effect of compounding interest. But also, it's good to know that you might not be perfect at the beginning, and that's the beauty of it. So give yourself the chance, explore as many different investment opportunities as possible, make as many mistakes as possible, and eventually you will actually decide on which one best works for you.